There we go. Hello?
Coming to you live from the Hellmouth Adjacent. It's the Popular Cinema Podcast. I'm your co-host Payne.
What? We've got no intro music?
I'm sorry,
I don't hear any intro music.
you didn't hear any intro music?
I did not. All I hear is dead silence. I'm like, what happened? What happened?
So why is that going on now? We have no intro music?
Nope. I heard nada.
So do you ever think we're recording right now? Do you think it's
I
kept you?
I think it's probably recording because it says live on my thing, but I just can't hear the music.
Well, isn't that a new fresh pot of hell for episode 91? Do you
Really?
see
We can't even get intro music now. This is so sad.
I'm looking at this thing here and it says the Hangout on Air is live. Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. For quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam.
What? Just when we get our shit on flow.
Superfan Carlos was talking to me the other day and he goes, I decided to listen to the podcast again. He goes, I like it when I'm listening to you and then your computer alerts come in going ding, ding.
So wait, am I to interpret this as Superfan Carlos tuned out for a period of time?
He went on some sort
How
of,
dare he?
I know, he went on a deep dive on Chernobyl. Then he was doing like the Mongolian Wars. Him and his son are reading some sort of book, The Cries of Russia or something.
Whatever. That's it. He's out of the Superfan Club. That's out. We don't have time for willy nilly fan. We only have Superfan time.
I mean, the man's trying to educate himself.
As if there's need to educate yourself beyond our 2 hours worth of Bon Mots every 2 weeks.
It's hilarious because we'll have a conversation on the reg, and he will sit there and be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm reading a book on listening to a podcast on the Mongolian Empire," and he goes, "Let me tell you what those Mongols used to do. They used to take the ruling class, and then they would just stack them on top of each other like a table, and then the weight from their bodies would crush the one below them while they ate and drank." I was like, "Really?"
Really?
Yeah, he comes up with all sorts of neat little historical facts as he's going into these, as he calls them, deep dives. I don't know what's going
Whatever.
on, Bill, that we don't have any intro music now. I mean, honestly,
I mean, we were down to the bare minimum with like sound effects. All we needed was just a little bit of intro music. Now you're telling me we don't have that?
I don't know. I took about 5 or 6 seconds. If anybody starts our podcast after 5 or 6 seconds of dead space, they're going to be like, "Oh, let's just move on to the next one."
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
And my woman was just telling me the other day about, she's looking for a new podcast. Ours isn't on the list,
Well,
and
what?
I I know, and I'm listening to some of those because she'll play them around the house, and you're listening to the production values. It's she doesn't want us me to do any type of cheap tricks on here, like booing noises or applause noises, but music at least, fading in and out.
Well,
So
didn't you just
disappointing.
restart your computer so it should be up and functioning, right?
It should have been up and functioning. That's why I should have
Well,
probably played the music to see if you could hear it. I mean, should have been the telltale
well,
sign.
did
Something
something change? Why would anything change?
I don't know. I think maybe I don't know if anybody's been messing with my settings. Sort of
Yeah,
like
except for you plugging and unplugging shit to make that fucking video game machine work.
yeah. Which, by the way, as most of the people who are close to me know, that my video arcade Pains Level Up Arcade is now up and running.
So have you been doing that like all day, every day since that started?
It sounds when you say it like that, like I don't work for a living,
Well, I
and
don't mean that. I mean all day in your free time, every day in your free time.
yes, it took approximately 2 months. Yes,
Right, but now
yes.
you have like what, like 100 games or something on there?
I have 32, but I'm gonna have to get rid of some of them. I need some more like two-player social games because my woman actually went out there and threw me a bone and said, "You know what? I think I might go out there and play some games." I was
Oh,
like,
that's nice.
"Really?" So we went out there and then we tried to play like Frogger. You know, what the key is, she has no coordination skills whatsoever. But she's
Well,
like
she's not.
Elaine.
She's not of the generation.
Well, is that what it is? I mean,
Well,
come on.
yeah. I mean, these kids today could probably like operate like some kind of like large machinery, take out your
Oh,
tonsils, and probably do something else at the same time.
yeah, you're right about that. I get you. I get you. So if she couldn't do Frogger, we tried to put her on like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. She wanted to do old school Pong, but I cannot
Oh yeah,
find.
that's
Yeah,
taking it way back.
I can't find Pong though. So
Come
that's
on, you
unfortunate.
can't
No.
find Pong. It's probably like the number one meme in the United States of America.
Listen, probably a 3-year-old could write that code. I understand. Can't find it. Very difficult.
I'll
Um,
find it. Did you go to that emulator site I sent you to?
yeah, I did. I did. I tried to
Oh,
put on some things. So I'm gonna try to get some more cool games. I put a Star Wars game on there and Tron.
yeah.
The Star
So
Wars
you've got
game.
Donkey Kong
I got Donkey Kong. I got Donkey Kong Junior.
Junior, Pac-Man,
I got Pac-Man.
Miss Pac-Man,
I got Miss Pac-Man. I like Miss Pac-Man more than Mr. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Really?
I can't find Galagala. Well, I have a Galagala, but it's like 88. It's not the version that I want. There's
Well,
also
there's another one
Defender
from.
and Joust I don't have, but I have Dig Dug and Mr. Do, if you remember Mr. Do.
I don't remember Mr. Dune, but
I
there's another version of Galaga called Galaxian, which is almost exactly the same.
yes, I think that I have that version up there.
Oh, okay.
I actually uploaded a Japanese version, and as I'm doing something which you have, for our fans out there, Bill suggested I get a VPN.
Really?
Essentially, a virtual private network to mask all my nefarious activities of downloading
Did you get it?
files. I did not, but apparently,
So
I'm
when you
just
get
going
a
to
cease and desist letter from your ISP, remember I tried to tell you. So
Do you happen to own a copy of Dig Dug? And I write back, yes, I do. Are you sure? You seem to own a lot of these hard copies of these games you're
yeah,
downloading.
we've noticed
But
a lot of downloads from foreign countries on your internet service.
yeah, but I downloaded some version of Galaxian,
Yeah.
but it was a Japan version. Uh, and so it says the
Does what
letter
difference does it
Galax.
make? Are the letters and the numbers in Japanese?
No, actually, yes, the words were in Japanese, but also you get the whole thing that there's some sort of international copyright infringement that you're not supposed to be doing that one. There were two different versions. I didn't know which one was one. One was American and one was Japanese, but that warning came up, so I got rid of that version because eyes don't want no trouble over here. Um,
So why didn't you get the VPN then?
because I was going to all those emulator websites, which seems to think it's okay. Because is that a
No, it's
problem?
because you're a cheap bastard. Just call it what it is. That's what it is. You don't want
Yeah,
to spend $7.99 to protect your internet downloading.
yeah, that's very true. You know what it is. I'm always looking for deals. Part of my daily routine is going to the deal websites just to
I
see
know,
what's
but you're
happening.
also concerned about making sure that you don't get like, turned off from your ISP, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's one way to do it.
Well, maybe that might be a good thing because clearly we don't have any music. I mean, what the hell?
Well,
I mean, we've at least had music at least from episode 1 or 2. It was
can't you just
rock.
splice in the music from another episode?
Well, actually, you're correct. I don't know if I feel like splicing for like 3 or 4 seconds.
Okay. Well, how about we
Yeah,
just tell people what episode we're on so we can just have that in the record books?
I
Episode
think I, I
90?
think I think I said that at the beginning, but we're
I
on
don't know.
episode 91.
91. Okay. All right.
Yay! How are you? How did it go for you this weekend?
Oh, fine. We're just, chilling out. Chris worked yesterday, so today we're going to watch probably Swamp Thing tonight. Maybe Jessica Jones.
Oh,
I watched
nice.
Roller Coaster this morning. Do you remember that movie?
Roller coaster.
Yeah,
No,
from like 1978.
no. Is it a horror movie?
Well, it's a thriller. It's about a guy who blows up roller coasters. It made me complete. My mother or somebody took me to see it when I was very, very young, and I have a slight recollection of it. But rewatching it, it's like some guy that blows up roller coasters and like blackmails like the roller coaster companies.
It was considered a disaster thriller film, and it was in 1977.
77. So I was 6.
He sets off a
Likely.
bomb at an amusement park roller coaster, causing multiple fatalities, then says he will do the same for 5 other rides around the country simultaneously unless he's paid $1 million.
Yeah, Timothy Bottoms is in it.
Yeah, so is it good?
It is good. It's one of those cheesy like disaster flicks that were prominent in the late 70s.
Yeah, two,
Earthquake,
yeah, 2 hours
uh,
seems like a
Towering
very.
Inferno. It's pretty good. I like it. But in any case, it's responsible for my lifetime fear of getting on roller coasters. So that's the whole reason why I never get on roller coasters.
I didn't really.
Really?
So wait a second. When we went to Cedar Point, did you not get on any roller coasters?
I did not. Do you not recall that I did not get on roller coasters?
I do not. Did you get on the? Well, you got on the Ferris wheel. I guess that doesn't count.
Well, I mean, it's barely a roller coaster, but okay.
Wow. Well, you also saw Jaws, but you don't have any problem going into the water.
I actually do. So I do.
What's good reason? Did you see that article I sent you now that since everything's
Yeah.
going to hell in the world and we're about to probably go into war, there's also bacteria in the water that comes out onto your skins and might mess with your bioderms or whatever else?
Yeah, but we've been in the ocean before and it's never really caused any problem. I'm not super I'm less super concerned about bacteria than I am about shark bites,
Okay, that's
to be
good.
honest.
I mean, just be quite honest that you don't want to get any sort of flesh-eating virus in your ears or nostrils. So I'm just
Right.
throw that out there.
Right. Thanks for the extra incentive to go on vacation now. Exciting. Yeah.
I I mean, what the hell? I was sitting here yesterday. We were outside, my woman and I, and all of a sudden these 4 helicopters start flying over. We saw them coming from like the east. These 4 helicopters, and it looked like a scene out of Red Dawn.
Well,
Okay,
it's the crime capital of the state, no doubt, over there by Northeast Ohio, right?
but they were military aircraft. And so I'm looking at it, Chris, and she's like, I'm like, well, this is, if all of a sudden you see like paratroopers dropping out,
Right.
and I'm sitting here like wiping down, it's just complete suburbia. I'm just wiping down the garage door. I'm like, there's dust on this garage door. I'm just gonna wipe it down, Bill. And that's what I'm doing out there, suburbia stuff. And I'm thinking, what happens if they drop paratroopers? We're just gonna get in the car. And then I was thinking of you. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what? I need the comforts of life. I mean, if we're just really gonna go to hell, then screw it. I'm out. I'm not gonna try to live in the woods off of berries and nuts.
So was
Live
there an
off.
escaped convict from like the jail downtown or something or what?
We don't know. They were flying overhead. They were carrying bombs. They're probably dummy bombs, but you're just sitting there going like, oh, I don't know how to do it.
Did you
See,
ever find
maybe
out what they were doing?
no, no. I think it's probably just some sort of exercise, or they're moving the transports. I don't know, but when I think about it now, I'm sitting there thinking, going, doomsday prepping. I need medications. I need
Well,
running water.
you
I,
might want to start thinking about getting these things in advance of the helicopter drop.
I mean, food. I get like guacamole and chips. What happens when you're in the woods? You're gonna be
You could
skinny
hide out in your
animals.
pantry behind that frosted glass.
Yeah.
No one will know anybody's in there.
See, they need to do a movie where they actually take some people that live in suburbia and not the people who seem to be like, oh, I was a hunter
Those
or I
people
live
live in suburbia. Those doomsday preppers, they're suburban.
okay. Well, I don't know about you. What's going to happen? I mean, I don't even have a machete or a buck knife.
Um, no, we're fucked. But you
I mean,
know, I don't know. I mean, my husband's got several guns. I suppose that might be of some defense.
I guess that's true. So when he sits there and he shoots a squirrel and brings it back and goes, Bill, fire up the spick.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Did I say spick or spit?
I don't. I'm gonna say spit.
Spit. Did I
So
just say a racist term on the
I
air?
think you might have accidentally let it slip, but sometimes your mouth makes funny sounds, so I just let it slip.
I would say another racist story I did where I was uneducated because, being from the yo, sometimes you don't really learn these things until you get out in the real world and the
Is
people
that
sit
what we
there.
call it now, the yo?
That's what
Really?
some other lady calls it at my work. She calls it the yo, and so then I
Really?
started calling it the yo.
I had never heard that term before. So
She
okay,
she looks at me and goes, "Have you been back to the yo?" And I go, "I try not to go back to the yo as
all
much
right,
as
as
possible."
possible. Sure.
Um, but anyway, so you're gonna be
Anyway,
watching that. I watched Swamp Thing earlier today.
okay. Was it a good episode?
It was kind of boring. I mean, they had some
Mm.
action stuff in it, but it didn't really push the story forward that much.
They've only got 10 episodes. They need to be pushing the story forward.
I hear you, but I felt as though this is almost like a enclosed episode, like something was going on, but then it was seemingly resolved at the end, and you're just like, okay, well, that's fine. I mean, the special effects are still good.
Hmm. Oh, did I tell you I saw Toy Story 4?
No, you didn't.
I did.
Okay, how was Forky?
Forky was okay. The movie was okay. It wasn't really up to my expectations based on the trailers and my experience with the rest of the trilogy. It just feels like it was not needed to add really meat to the story. So I kind of felt like it was a little superfluous. And some of the moments that I thought were going to be like Forky was a joke that was sort of played out a little bit at the beginning, and then they just kept doing the joke over and over again. And by the time the movie was over, the joke wasn't funny anymore.
Is this him having some sort of like mental like anxiety issue?
Well, it sounds funnier than it was in execution, but he did not think that he should be a toy. He thought he was trash, so he kept trying to throw himself in a trash can and kill himself because he didn't want to be alive. It sounds funny, but after a while, it's like not that funny. So I was disappointed, to be honest. This is 2 years in a row now that I've been disappointed with these Disney Pixar movies. They
You're talking
better,
about Incredibles
yeah, The
2?
Incredibles 2 wasn't really great either.
It's interesting because a lot. Not that I've been following it, but I've seen the headlines that Toy Story 4 has been very popular. People
Sure.
love it. It's really high up
It's
there.
gotten
In
very
fact,
high
that we're
critical.
greenlighting Toy Story 5.
Sure, probably. But this gets to the question of like, does there need to be five sequels about a story involving toys?
No, wait a second. Can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
They introduced probably a couple of the characters. I think it was like a bunny and something else.
Yeah, you know how I feel about those like slang using bunnies, right?
Yeah, I-
Okay.
they were trying to add some like hipster. Like, what are they
Yeah.
called? What were they called?
Urban. They were trying to add some like urban flair.
Yes. What were the name of the toys?
Bunny and Ducky.
Bunny and Ducky. Yeah, I saw a little clip of that. Did you find them to be funny?
No.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
how I feel about the slang using animals. It's the
Yeah.
same way I felt about that dragon from Mulan.
Right.
I don't need
Right.
hip hop animals. I just
Do
don't.
you, do you like do you like Donkey from Shrek?
Nope.
I like Donkey from Shrek.
Nope.
I
Nope.
didn't care for the slang using robots in Transformers. They had those two cars that drove around and they actually had like gold chains on the cars or something like
Really.
that. Or they had grills. They had grills representing grill. Anyway, either way, I was very offended by Michael Bay and, the trappings of stereotypes. Very
I'm not
irritating.
offended by it. I'm just not amused by it either. To be quite
I,
honest with
I was
you, I'm not
offended by
amused.
it, but I'm okay with it being in the terms of Bunny and Ducky. I
Well,
mean,
it's here's the thing. It just wasn't funny.
okay.
That's the
Well,
problem.
so my point is, I haven't seen obviously number 4, but I would think I would be okay with them pushing the series. But usually these whole things dabble in some sort of what's the word? What separates them from Boss Baby is they have like a higher level of emotional.
Sure.
content or a more engaging story. Like it's just not a simple yucky yuck fart fart. It's kind of being like, well, the story is about like this kid who's lost somebody in his life, and then we're trying to bring back that magic to him. Like there's a higher level of storytelling that they're trying to get to. On
Sure. And that's present in this movie as well, only it's less resonant with the storyline involved than the
okay, so what are they trying to do this time? What happens? The-
I'm not trying to get out spoilers in case people
Well,
want to
not
take their
spoilers, but what's
kids.
the overall? Who are they trying to?
They're
What kid?
trying
What human are they trying to help out?
they get lost. I mean, it's basically the same storyline as the other movies. They get lost and they try to find their way back to their kid.
Ugh, are we back to that? Come on. Why does the kid keep losing them then?
Well, that's a good question, and
Take a hint.
that's what comes to happen at the end of the movie. And that is probably the best part of the movie is the end when there is some movement towards a different direction for the future of the franchise. If they do continue, there has been a major change now at the end of the movie so that it might not be the
Well,
same
shit, you
story
got to
next.
tell me now. There's okay. Listen, for the people out there,
It's
here's
a
comes a
spoiler
whole bunch
warning.
of spoilers.
So Bonnie is the little girl that has all the toys.
Right. She the one with the braces?
Yeah, she's in the one with the daycare. She went to the daycare and they got set up with the big teddy bear, the like godfather of teddy bears.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So she gets tired of Buzz and she leaves, or not Buzz, of Woody and leaves him in the closet when she's playing with the other toys. So they go on a camping trip and she makes this Forky toy before she leaves with the camping trip, and she's obsessed with this Forky toy. But Forky keeps trying to kill herself. So Woody decides to try to save Forky so that he can give him back to Bonnie, since Bonnie seems to be in love with this Forky thing. And they end up in an RV, and they end up at a carnival where they find Bo. Remember Bo Peep
Okay.
from Toy Story 2? And she's like an action hero now. And so she's been like on her own since she got sold from an antique store by the carnival. So she's like nature girl, and she's like trying to teach Woody how to survive without having a kid. And this whole rigmarole about them getting stuck with these like old dolls from an antique store who are like supposed to be like ventriloquists or like freaky dummies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw that part of the clip.
Okay. And the one old doll wants to steal Woody's voice box because she never had one when she came out of the box. And so they have to do this operation where they take Woody's voice box out and put it in her. It's a little freaky. Anyway, they eventually obviously get back with Bonnie, all the toys at the end. And then Woody decides to stay with Bo Peep at the carnival instead of going back with all the toys. So Woody is now gone.
Boom, chicky wow wow. Bum, 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 bum. So him and Bo are
So
going to be
him and
getting
Bo
it
are
on.
going to be like, yeah, doing it.
So where's going to happen with the other toys then?
They went back with Bonnie.
But how is that going to work in the future then if Woody's not
Well, that's a
around?
good question.
So we're gonna deal with the other toys. We're gonna let
No, I
Mr.
imagine that.
Potato Head be in charge, or we're gonna follow the adventures of Woody, or is Woody gonna get
I don't know.
kidnapped? And
Maybe they'll do a spinoff on Disney Plus of Woody or something. They're already doing a Forky spinoff on Disney Plus,
really,
which I don't
really,
know if we necessarily need. So Forky was less entertaining than I thought he would be. Because in the trailers I was like, I love me some Forky.
yes, you're always up in there with anyway. I won't
When I
insult
saw
you.
it though, I was like, oh, that's just not as amusing as it seemed to be.
How was the crowd? Were the people laughing? Were there some yucks in
Yeah,
there?
but oddly enough, it was pretty empty. The theater was like really not very full when I went and saw it yesterday afternoon.
We're gonna have to check out the box office at some point in time here at the end of the show and find out what the deal is.
So, I'm not going to throw it out of the series and act like it doesn't exist, but it's not
It's not a
something.
strong entry in for
Not
you.
for me, no.
Okay. So, do you? are you looking at it as like what? I mean, did they have the same creators? Are you,
Well, John Lasseter's been diddling the chicks, so he had to get booted.
do you think
So
that
there
has
was a
an
new
effect
director.
on what we're getting right now? Then for you,
No, I
so
mean it had
far?
the
Is
same
there a
feel.
correlation?
It had the same feel. I mean, that looked the same. It just the story just wasn't as strong.
You
So
don't think there's any correlation though?
I don't think so. I mean, there might be, and maybe I'm just not seeing it. But I mean, that's the obvious division of like what's different this time than the other times. It just
Um,
wasn't. Didn't live up to my standards.
yeah. Well, neither was Incredibles 2. Was that before or after he got kicked out,
That
Lassiter?
was before he got kicked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, they're going to stop with the sequels for a while, is what the corporate line is. They're going to really concentrate on originals. So you've seen the trailer for Onward next. And then after that, they're doing something called Soul. So they're both coming out next year. So,
Did you see that? Talk about perfect segue. Did you see that? It was a screenshot that one of my woman's sons sent to me, which was regarding original films,
oh, I think I saw that. Yes.
and how like it's a flow chart of original films, films based on fictional work, and then films based on like I think non-fictional work. And
Right.
if you look at like 84, 85, it doesn't really give you any citations or any give you like hard numbers like 1,000 or something else like that. But if you look at the chart, assuming that let's say it's somewhat credible, that you had a lot more, and that's really not giving our fans what a lot more means, but
It's it's
a huge amount of original
it used to
filmmaking
be about
back.
50-50 back in the 80s of original material and material that was adapted from another source. Now
Yeah,
it seems to be like maybe 80% or 90% material adapted from another source and like 10 or 20% material, original material. So
yes.
you can make
Um,
of that what you will. I don't know that I necessarily feel like it's bad. I think the problem is that people aren't going to original films. They're not leaving their houses because they can see their originals on Netflix. And so the originals become a bigger gamble for the studios because then they feel like, well, if no, people aren't going to turn out for these original movies that we're making, then we'll just make things that we know are going to get people's asses in seats.
well, see, I don't know if that's. I guess it depends on what the expectation is. You can still have an original movie, like you can have a Bloomhouse movie that costs $5 or $10 million and still be profitable.
Well, and that's why those are the
Nobody's
originals that
really
we're getting.
we had these shows before where you're just telling me that nobody wants to sit there and go, well, you made a movie for 5 million and it brought in $200 million, but that only gets me half a yacht. But if I spend 150 million, I might be able to get 1 billion. And
But
so I'm not
even
really.
Bloomhouse has gone to the direction of remakes and reboots. I mean, they might have more originals per their slate than many other studios, but they've also got It, Halloween.
Yeah, but within those remakes or reboots, they're still at a price point to where you can still do a lot of things that you couldn't do, as you said, in a giant blockbuster movie that costs $175 million.
Right, which
I
is
mean,
why most of the originals you have are from studios like A24 or Bloomhouse that are making smaller micro budget movies for, little bits of money and then making huge profits on them.
I wish there was a way to somehow be able to incorporate um, some of the themes which you would have from a smaller movie and the storytelling and the direction into something bigger. Um, but where were you going with this? Why did you mention original? Oh, there you said that Disney, Pixar is going to be doing more original stuff,
Right.
which I
I mean,
welcome
my
that.
track record with
I,
them
I
is
I actually don't have a. It's not so even so much a problem with for me for them to do. I mean, Toy Story was an original thing. I don't mind them doing 4, 5, or 6. You just hope that if they continue to do it, that it continues to be pushing forward and be fresh and funny.
Right. I mean, I think
I
the
mean,
third
if I
one
enjoy a series, I would like you to keep doing more of it. It's only when you start stagnating do you sit there and go like, "Okay, we've been down this road before. Now you're phoning it in, and now you're killing it." And and you hate for something to get to that point to where you're just like, "Okay, it's time to move on to a different series now." You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, like I liked 3 more than I liked 2 Toy Story movies. Um, I liked number 3 more than number 2. Um, number 4 just probably would be more along number 2 than number 3. So we're splitting hairs in a way, but
Yeah, I mean this chart. I think the highest, if you looking at this chart here, I'm going to expand it here. The highest year for original movies versus based on previously existing of fictional work was
was
84,
right.
and the highest level of fictional work versus original work 2018.
2018. Right.
So what's the gap in there? What is that? 18? I don't know, 18,
It's like
20,
35 years.
35 years? Well, what does that say? Does it say anything?
Yeah, it says where we're at as a movie-going
But
nation.
people are consuming a lot of, they want original content. I mean, they have all these streaming services. So there's a lot of original content. It's just not necessarily at a movie
They're not
theater.
going to pack up their kids, pack up their wives and their spouses, get in their cars, drive to a movie theater, pay $20 for popcorn, and sit down and watch something that they don't know that they are going to get their money's worth. That's what they're not doing.
So the consumers, Joe and Jane Sixpack, if I'm extrapolating here, are a little bit more sophisticated than we were in 1984.
No, they have more options. They have more home entertainment than we had as kids.
Mhm.
And so they are more frugal customers because they also have more stuff to consume.
I'm also going to
Can be
add,
picky.
I think they're also more sophisticated because
Oh,
back when
please.
when we were growing up, and I don't mean sophisticated in being
As
like,
in
uh,
smart?
in terms of drinking like champagne versus Miller Lite, but let's be quite honest. You grew up on 3 channels.
Well, we had
We were
cable
watching
too,
Saturday morning cartoons. That
right?
when you wanted to watch cartoons, you'd have to wake up on Saturday morning, early in the morning.
Right.
Okay, they were on, and if you missed them, you were fucked.
For the week. Right.
Yes, that was it. These kids now have like, what are my nephews? What do you want to watch? I don't know. I want to watch episode 7 of Sesame Street. Okay, how about this? Episode 9. You can pull up anything you want at any time of all the shows. Wallace and Gromit, SpongeBob. You have access to it. They can watch it all the time, Bill.
Right.
They've seen all this stuff. We were only able to see Thundar the Barbarian once a week. Okay, that's it. Once a week, Thunder the Barbarian. Of course, that shit's good. You only see it once a week. You gotta wait. If you can sit there and watch Thundar every day, anytime you wanted, you'd be like, "Ugh, I'm so over Thundar. Let me try Dungeons and Dragons out. Ugh, over this. Let me try X Men." You're a little bit more sophisticated and
I don't
savvy.
know if sophisticated is really the right
You don't
word.
like the word because it implies some sort of like taste and quality, but what I'm saying is they have more exposure to a
Yeah,
lot of
they
things.
simply
They're
have
not sitting there going like, by the way, if I don't go out and see Toy Story 5, then I'm not going to get any other type of like, animated entertainment until the next movie 6 months later. They're like, no, I got 500 other shows I can pull up. Not saying they're good, but if I can't make it this weekend, trust me, I can find something else to watch.
right. So they have more
Well, you
options.
well, yeah, but they're also not. We didn't have options, and I think there says something too also with the quality that for me, I'm just going to speak for myself.
Yeah, look, I'm not trying to paint myself as some kind of sophisticated movie watcher because God
I'm not
knows I have
saying
three
that.
types of movies to watch.
I don't want to say that, but what my point, what I'm trying to drive to is that I think growing up, we only had so many movies, so many things, only so many reviewers, just Siskel and Ebert, and then all of a sudden you only had like the beginning of a giant movie industry expanding. And so you have these movies and they're all coming out, and it's like what do you have when a young Steven Spielberg, they're all doing guerrilla warfare, they're all young guns working, grinding, making these small films, and everything starts to expand. And then you see this, and then as you start to get older, here we are, as you said, 35 years later. Okay, I've seen The Shining, I've seen Jaws, I've seen The Exorcist, and now I'm getting Fast and the Furious, and I'm getting Boss Baby. And yes, I'm going for quality for myself, but I know the difference now than what before. I see it. I can look at something and I can tell you right now, sometimes it just stinks. Doesn't mean it will if I actually watch it, but I'm looking at it going, there's a difference for me from Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Spaceballs 2 coming out now. Okay, I it's a different feel. Whatever. I feel like I'm going on a tirade in old man off my lawn type of shit, and I'm not going there. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
All
So,
I'm saying is I don't know that the change and shift between people who are seeing only sequels and reboots is really as bad as it might seem to people who used to grew up on what we would call original films. I think I don't know which one came first, the chicken or the egg. I think that the studios are responding to what people have proven to them to want for their audiences. And
well, it's back to what you're saying to me. Is you're just like if I'm going to be taking my kids to a theater, I hope that it's going to be some sort of like shit that I can't get on my Netflix, like special effects that blow your mind, or action that's crazy or whatever else.
or
So
some kind of IP that is recognizable for me that I can say I know a certain percentage of what I'm going to get when I walk into that theater. I know Fast and Furious 9 is not going to be War and Peace. I know Toy Story 4 is not going to be The Last Unicorn, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm getting something that I know is good and entertaining material. Now, whether they make it a great movie or not, I don't know. But I recognize this. I'll take a risk with spending my afternoon going to see this because it's based on something I previously loved. That's
mm,
where audiences are. Like it or not, that's where we're at as an audience.
mm, okay, all right. You were watching Toy Story. I saw three movies. I saw Us, Hotel Mumbai, and Hell County this evening.
And
Hell
Hell
County
County,
this evening fucking sucked. It was like a documentary that was over 5 years. I can see why it was over 5 years because
about
who
what?
would, it's just a ordinary life in a Hale County in Alabama. It's
Why did you
essentially
rent that?
watching. What's that?
Why did you even rent that?
Well, the trailer looked interesting to me.
Okay.
See a slice of Americana someplace else. But then when you start
Open your
watching
front
it,
door. Sit
well,
out in the driveway for a
listen,
couple
on
hours.
my front door, people have their garages open and they're like, grilling out and they're saying, "Hey, what about this weather today?" That's what they're doing over here in my neighborhood. In Hell County, they're like, "Bang, bang, bang."
Oh, so it's like in the hood, in
It's
the
a lower
income.
social economically depressed area,
What state is it in?
Alabama.
Okay.
I saw Hotel Mumbai. I think I told you that about the 2008 terroristic shooting over in India in several locations over 4 days. I mentioned to you that while I enjoyed the film, and I had this with Carlos, I'm not going to call him super fan based on our designation from earlier in the show,
I know, right?
um, is that I watched it, and while it was how do you want to say it? Good. Like it was. I thought it was good filmmaking. It was very tense. If it was designed to get like an emotional reaction, I kind of was ready to turn the movie off after about an hour. It's a 2 hour
So it's
movie.
a fictionalized retelling of the events of that
Yeah, yeah,
hotel.
and I usually have a problem with that sometimes because people weren't there, and so they just kind of make up dialogue, and they also have characters like this guy actually wasn't there, but we're gonna have him make a hero or put him in an elevator or some shit that you don't know if happened or didn't happen. And but for the most part, despite that, they took some footage. Either way, Bill, it was too intense for me at my age now. And it was a level of violence, which I think that's what the point of the film was, to show you that these people were just shooting random individuals and they were robotic. They were just mowing them down. And it gets toxic for me. And I think at some point in time when I'm seeing these things, I think I prefer to have seen a documentary. I think I would access and feel better about it and learn
The
something versus
documentary wouldn't make you feel more toxic about
no,
it.
no, because it would not. And I guess I have to think about it why it wouldn't. But the fictionalized just made me more sick because I don't know how to explain it. It was
So,
just
because
like that.
it does confuse me because I would think the actual event or the documentary of the event, which is actually about the human suffering that actually happened, would be even less appetizing than a fictional. Because even because with the fictional recounting, I mean, it's all a set. It's a movie set. These are actors. They are not real life people. This did not actually happen to these people you're actually watching. So maybe it seems maybe less unpalatable to me because I know that there's a certain level of make believe to it. Whereas with the documentary, it's just like, oh shit, these people were fucked.
Well, with the documentary, though, I feel as though I don't know if it rationalize, I'm able to process it in a different way. With the fictionalized telling of the story, when I finished Hotel Mumbai, I was sitting there thinking, I don't know what to think of this. Like it's just really showing me a movie of people going around and killing.
Right.
With a documentary, they would sit there and be like, hey, they came over here, their purpose was this, and we were doing this, and these it paints a different picture. This is just really just following a person around killing people. End of story. He shows up here, he pulls out a gun, he starts killing people, he kills, hour and a half, then he gets shot by the police. End of movie. And you're like, so I just watched a snuff film essentially. I think with the documentary, I can learn something. I can know more about it. Uh,
Okay.
while it was a good movie, Bill, I did not. It was hard. It was hard to
Heavy.
watch. It was heavy. Yeah, yeah. I
I
think
hate
I
heavy
told you,
movies.
even though I haven't seen Schindler's List, I feel as though with Schindler's List, though, that there's some sort of um, hope that goes in there, like a guy trying to do his best to help people out in an impossible situation, and there's still going to be lots of death, but there's something. And I think part of it is what you would say sometimes to me, like in the movie. Even though I'm always doom and gloom with dark side, I was kind of hoping in this Mumbai that there would be something like that. I don't need it to be made up, but I guess just watching a movie of people going around and killing each other the whole time,
Right.
it just wasn't. While it may happened exactly like that, I just don't know if that was something I was in a movie. I got it after an hour. I read more about it online. I was watching the movie. I got more out of it by reading it and processing it than watching it. Anyway, moving on. I
So did
also
you
saw
watch the
Jordan
whole
Peele.
movie?
I did. Well,
Okay.
Chris watched it with me as well. She enjoyed it.
Okay.
That's a weird word to use. I also saw Jordan Peele's Us.
Right.
Um, and as I mentioned to you offline, I gave it 4 stars. I think the ending reminded me of like an M Night movie. Um, it's 2 hours as a movie, then you get to the end, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a bit of a twist. I didn't see that coming. And it kind of makes you rethink the whole movie and then think of all these other layers of what it's talking about. Is it talking about us as people, immigration? There's so many different parts to it that make it good. Where it
So
kind of
was it?
failed for, go ahead,
Is it 4 out of 5 stars or
4 out of 5
one?
stars.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but I think where it failed for me is that it's about a 2 hour movie. I think probably about an hour and 15 is them just kind of running away from people trying to kill them, which is kind of boring to me. Um,
Okay.
that part, it's just kind of boring. But the
It wasn't
ending,
creepy with the twins and all that nonsense.
no, it wasn't creepy. I mean, that got kind of old. I mean, for me that got old quick. It's like you showing up and then seeing a person like you, but that's kind of weird, and he's trying to kill you, and so you're kind of running through the house, and that person's trying to kill you, and then you're trying to kill them, and that's what happens. And I wasn't really, that part wasn't tense at all.
Okay.
I didn't feel any type of, I didn't feel any fear or tension. The only time I felt something that was kind of creepy is when the one girl was looking at herself in the mirror and just kind of looked back in an evil smile. That was about it. The whole Friday the 13th chasing, that's just, we've seen that a million times. I don't think
So you gave it kind of high though for not really loving it. 4 out of 5 is a pretty high score.
it's because of the ending. It's a
Oh,
twist. I
okay.
thought it was kind of like thought provoking. Like, if it makes me want to read up on it and think about it some more, like what you're trying to get at and what does that really mean. It was a thought provoking ending. I mean, I guess I could give it 3 stars, um, but
Well, no, your score is your
it seemed
score.
kind of bloated. It seemed. I think Get Out. Yeah,
Overrated? Is that possible?
yeah. The ending I don't think is overrated. I think the whole middle part of it is just too long
So
and
does this
basic, and too
continue
long and basic.
the Wonderkind reputation of the Jordan Peele persona as he's developed into a director of note for you, or do you think that he may have played all his tricks yet?
No, I think um, I mean, that's going to be part of our topic. I guess we're going to get to is he would be somebody I would bankroll.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it. And even though I give M Night a lot of shit, he would be on the same page. I put him up there as in terms of somebody that's coming up with something original and a new spin on certain things. And like the ending surprised me. And technically, when I look back on it, going, why didn't I see that? I could have, that makes, of course, that's the twist. But
I have a
I,
bone to pick with M. Night Shyamalan.
what's that?
I have a bone to pick with M. Night.
Sure.
This is kind of random, but as we're just talking about him
Yeah.
and
Go
somebody
ahead.
that you would bankroll in the future,
We're
the
not there
more I,
yet, but go ahead.
the more I think about it, the more I'm angry at the ending of Glass. I'm actually pissed off about it because it's kind of bullshit.
Now, the ending of Glass, Elijah sits there and has the whole world see the video to show them being killed and murdered to let them know that there are other people of superpowers out there and that they can't be silenced or hidden.
Right.
And I think the whole idea was the footage was to give to, I
Inspire
forget the,
people to come out of the closet if they're superpowered.
right. So Elijah's mom had it as well as David's son were
Because
able
Elijah
to.
sent it out in email before he died. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So go ahead. What's the problem?
The problem is you go through this trilogy of movies, really, even though Bruce Willis was only in the movie for like 2 seconds at the end of the second one. But as a character arc, how is that paying off anything to have him killed in an inch deep mud puddle by drowning? That's terrible. It's terrible. It's so bleak And to be quite honest with you, having people see the video of them and exposing them as superpowered beings doesn't make up for the fact that he died in an inch puddle of water. That's just not how I like to see my superheroes turn out. I'm pissed off about it. I tried to deal with it when I first saw the movie, and I was like, you know what? It was used to inspire these other people, and that's fine. But still, he owed that character more than the way he died. And I'm bitter about it.
Yeah. I
I'm bitter.
okay. I gotcha.
Anyway,
I kind of I like the you want to call it bleakness. I like the kind of twist on it in terms of not having the standard rah ending.
it would be like if Lex Luthor killed Superman in that scene in Superman Returns when he stabs him with the kryptonite and throws him over the cliff. That would be like if Superman just died, which he kind of did, but he was resurrected.
Yeah,
But there's no resurrection for David.
That would be the end of the movie.
Right.
Sure.
There's no resurrection for David. That's the way he dies. This is out of a sacrifice of out of a whole lifetime's worth of heroic goods and do-gooding for people, to help them out. He dies in a puddle, a mud puddle.
I don't know if David Duke is on the level of Superman, though.
In the Glass universe,
that's the whole point. Superman is an iconic symbol of decades of history. David Duke is, I'm sorry, David
Dunn.
Duke.
David Dunn.
I've gone with some racist things I've said today. I've gone with, I'm not going to say it again, and David Duke. What the hell?
I don't know what that's about.
But I don't know if he's really on that.
The Glass universe,
character that you watched over 3 movies die like that for sure. But I don't know if it's on the level of like,
But do you not think that David Dunn
he's like a janitor? He's like a security guard.
In the Glass universe, he is the hero that saves people. He's the unbreakable man. He is the Superman of that story.
He's like a superhero of like Hellmouth adjacent, a small town.
If Superman was real, he would be David Dunn. That's what they're trying to say.
Mention, they don't even know. These are just alleged sightings of the individual, of people saying stories that they were rescued. It's not even confirmed. It's not like somehow there's...
Yeah, but the audience knows.
We'll all know it.
We know it as an audience. We know that David is a superhero. And
we know that he's been doing some good things. Yes.
Really, Jay? He's like, yeah. He's dedicated himself to going out and writing the wrong people that do bad things to other people. He's definitely our superhero.
Did you somehow expect that this machine that's been keeping these powered people down and under their boot would somehow, like, he would beat up those security guards and then say what?
I don't know that we necessarily need
to say, you know what? You can't stop me now. And Elijah's going to send out the video, so there'll be more than us. It won't just be me, it'll be more. And that would be the end of the movie, and they just play the overture and be like, yeah.
I don't know how it would have ended if it was up to me to do it, but I can tell you right now, killing off the main character the way he was killed off is not on my list of how you pay off a character for a trilogy.
It sticks to your ribs a lot more than some sort of other standard ending because it's still in your craw right now.
Yeah, and not in a good way, though. Not in a way where I'm like, oh, yeah, that was a satisfying conclusion to that storyline. No, it wasn't. It was very unsatisfying. What a way to go. That's
Would you have preferred he not die in a puddle, but if he would have still been killed off, did you need a grand death for him?
Yes. If he was going to die, I would prefer a death deserving of a hero. Falling from one of those buildings or something like that. Something.
See, that's the American in you. You need to have some sort of like, all right, so I'm going to go down here and lift up this whole thing and sacrifice myself. There's got to be some sort of like speech and then let you know he's about to do something heroic as opposed to what happened. He tripped down the stairs and hit his head on the counter and is dead. You'd be like, what? That's just ridiculous. What do you mean he tripped? Well, he had a heart attack and trying to go to the battle because you know what? it's just a random thing and it happened. You're like, heart attack? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's not a payoff. That's not a payoff. A payoff is David kicks some people's asses, and then takes that Ellie woman with him over the side of a building, and she's like, "We're all gonna be supervillains, and the world's gonna be full of supervillains." And he's like, "No, I know Elijah sent the tape." Blam, and then they hit. That's the way to go.
See, you could work for the big box office studios. That's exactly how they were right. They're like, Bill, that's an excellent idea. I like it. Do you think we can have him hold a can of Coke while he's flying down there too? You'd be like, yeah, let's put him in Coke colors, red and white. Yes, I like it, Bill. And can he say something like, villains
Unite.
drink diet, heroes drink Coke? You're like, Bill, you're a genius. Yeah, you'd be right up there writing all that stuff. That's
Yeah, I would.
exactly the type of standard ending and regular thinking that's plagued what's going on in 2018 and carrying on.
What can
in the
I say?
future.
I'm not a sophisticated moviegoer that today's
See,
modern
you can,
audiences
see,
need
that's
to
my whole point. You already know what the ending should be. You're just thinking there needs to be a grand payoff for the hero, where he's got to do something like what you just said.
Yeah.
Standard. I applaud M. Night on the ending. I didn't see it coming. I half expected when he was sitting in the water that he would either lift up his head or he would not be dead, because that's the way we've been trained to think. Oh, he's certainly not going to be. He's not going to lose to these regular villains. These
Because
regular.
that's how heroes become heroes. That's what heroes do. They overcome all the odds, and in the end, they succeed where no one else can. Not that they can just give in to the same physical things that limit other people. That's not a superhero. Superheroes do the shit that other men can't do and get away with it.
Okay. I'm not going to bust that bubble. I know you're just kind of going down that side. Well, I'm not going to fight with you.
We can move on.
I'm trying to take my lessons from listening to the sports radio and the one guy who's irritating, who goes off on his diatribes. I'm trying to really keep myself in the box. I'm trying to learn, Bill, since apparently we don't have any fucking music on this show anymore.
Well, I picked my bone. We can move on.
So let's do the topic here. I mean, technically, we've been all talking all sorts of things here. I saw this thing come across my Twitter feed, and somebody, I wish I could give a shout out to that person who raised the question, but I don't. Bill, if you were
You don't know, or you're just not giving them a shout out?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But the person said, like, if you were given like $5 billion, you know, you could bankroll any project, any movie, or any passion thing or sequel or something, whatever crazy idea you want to do with your $5 billion in the entertainment field, obviously, what would be your first order of business?
I'm sure you can guess it. Number one is I would greenlight Man of Steel 2 from DCEU.
Oh yeah, anybody who's been listening to this show should know that one.
So that's the first order of business.
Ring, Henry, guess what?
You got a raise.
Mr. Angel is here.
We want to lock you into a 3-picture deal, at least a 3-picture deal. So, we want you to be our Superman again. Absolutely. Totally. The second one I would do would be get the Tolkien estate, unless they already have, because we don't know what the Amazon story is going to actually be based on. But if it's not necessarily based on the Silmarillion, I would pay them to give me the rights to that and get Henry Jackson to go back to Middle-earth.
Peter Jackson.
What? I'm doing your game now. Peter Jackson to go back to Middle-earth.
Oh,
and tell us ancient tales of the Lord of the Rings.
Nice. I get that.
So
okay,
those are my two.
I think for me, I would use the first $1 billion to probably assassinate all the bad directors.
Wow, really? I don't see again. I don't know if that would be, first of all. Really?
I know. I know. I might use the second $1 billion to wipe out all the movies that I hate and any reference to them on the internet, which would include bringing the Gestapo to your house and taking away all your bad movies as well. I'd scrub the
Really?
internet of all bad films.
Is there
Anyway,
anything that you can do to add something to something, or do you just want to take away other things?
right. So if I'm going to be positive about this whole thing, I would redo um, the Justice League movies as well as probably start the DC universe all over again. That would be the
So
first thing.
wait, would you start from scratch, or would you continue with what they've already started with Batman versus Superman and Man of
Well,
Steel?
at this point, I would I would probably have to start from scratch. If it's my 5 billion,
So
I'm
that
going to
means you fire Henry, fire Ben, and start all over again from scratch.
I don't want to know if I'm looking at a fire and I'm just going in a different direction.
Okay,
You
right.
know,
But are you going with
DC Universe is fumbling on its own. I'm just going to come in there and just start my own thing. I'm just going to buy away the rights and just start my own thing. If they want to continue forward with Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, they can. I'm starting my own project over here. That's what
Okay,
we're
so
going to.
you're recasting then? You're rebooting and recasting.
Oh yeah, I'm going to spend a lot of money on recasting, and I'm going to try to bring in the Russos. I'm going to try to bring in the Russos, and there's going to be a clause in my films where we're not going to be doing this fucking comedy bullshit either. So it's going to be very dramatic. It's going to be very violent. Um, that's how we're going to roll.
So you're going to do hard R DCU.
Yeah, the violence is. You're going to feel it. It's going to be like it's going to be like Winter Soldier when Captain America is punching you and your body's going flying against the thing, the
Yeah,
bones
but that's not
cracking.
hard R. That's PG-13.
Yeah, it's PG. I don't necessarily need there to be arms separated, but it's you got to be able to feel it. So, I would do that. I would probably green light. Let's see here. Zombie movies. There would probably be a pipeline for all type of zombie movies. Um, I
So
would
you
do
do Zombieland 2 or whatever it was called, that one that
no,
was
no
supposed to be with Brad
Zombieland.
Pitt?
Nothing comedy. I
No,
would
no,
when
no. What was the one with Brad Pitt?
World War II, World War Z.
World War Z. Would you do part 2 of that?
I did it kind of. I enjoy World War Z when it's on. I don't know if I would do two because part of it is they're just kind of going with like a virus. Um,
Well, how else are you going to explain zombieism, Jay?
yeah, but theirs was a little bit more technical. Like with 28 Days Later, it was a little bit more rabid, like a rage virus. Something. It was this was World War Z was more cerebral, where they were trying to come up with formulas and figure out a way to resolve it and scientific thinking. And 28 days later, you're just running. You're just trying to survive. I would focus on more of just trying to survive, more of Walking Dead type of stories as opposed to, medical journal. How do we resolve this issue and solve it? I don't care about solving it. I would do a sequel to Dread.
Boy, you're just going to try to lose that money, huh? You're just trying to lose money now.
I would get David Fincher back and finish off the dragon tattoo story.
Again, America has spoken. They're not interested.
And I would probably fund a couple Jordan Peele movies. But that's how I don't know about rebooting any other universes because I thought about this with the 5 billion, and I go if I liked a series and our films, then why would I change them? And I was sitting there thinking, going, I love The Wire. I go, why don't I just do a whole commission of the sixth season of The Wire? And then I sat here and thought about it. I'm like, well, The Wire ended, and it was good all the way up to 5. Why would I want to, change something?
Because you want more of something that you enjoy.
Right, but I think some of these things had a natural ending, and in that way, they're kind of perfect, and you might end up ruining something that was fine as it is. So
So you're basically going to do what DC won't do with their rebooted or half rebooted, not half rebooted.
DC, what they have right now is they have 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
You take both feet out.
Yeah, I take both feet out and we start because right now I feel like it's all very tainted here. They've got Shazam, but then they don't have Batman. Okay, we're going to do this, but we don't then have Superman. That's not where my 5 billion is going to be used to just start this whole universe up again. And I'm not saying it's going to be right. I'm just going to say that's what I'm going to do because this where they're going with it right now. I'm buying all of it back. 5 billion. I'm taking it all back, and we're canceling the Birds of Prey. We're
Too
canceling this
late, it's in the
Harley Quinn
can.
bullshit. We're canceling all that, Bill. Okay. Oh, it's canceled.
I would go back to 20 whatever the whatever after the Justice League was done. I think that they can make these characters work. They just need to maybe retool some of the story ideas. But I think that
If you wanted me to be benevolent and keep you as a fan, I can continue on from Batman versus Superman 2. Okay. I would probably reshoot those scenes with the cave troll at the end with Doomsday. You can kind of wipe that out. I have to wipe out Lex Luthor too. I
why not just do Justice League 2 but with the same cast and a different director and a different script? And
okay.
just say Justice League 1 was our starting point and maybe it isn't, the all be all end all that we wanted to do, but give us a chance with Justice League 2.
Okay, so you've used most of your money on making sure that the Lord of the Rings project got up and running.
Right.
So if you still have 500 million, I would take your money and put it towards some of those changes.
Why are you going to take my money? Why can't you use some of your money?
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
not that I'm
use.
opposed to it, because I would, if it was me and I had the 5 billion choice, another addition I would make would be to continue on with the Justice League universe as it is, as it was.
Okay, I'm still gonna change some things. I'm gonna have to change some things. I'm not gonna
Right, but
deal
you're
with
not
the
going to
leftovers.
recast every. I mean, you don't have to recast. Superman's perfect. Batman's perfect. Wonder Woman's perfect. Why do you need to throw all those things out and start over?
Um, well, I think we consider Ben Affleck. I think anyway.
He is perfect. There's no
Um,
question.
I would I would do that, but there would have to be some whole changes. Why I like Zack Snyder, I would think I would bring in a group of people, and I'm not sure who I would put to sort of head up the direction. It might be the Russos,
That's
in
fine.
terms
Bring the
of
Russos in for Justice League 2.
action, but a part of it is I kind of like Zack Snyder's ideas on where he was going. I would really kind of unleash them on this whole level of storytelling where they were going. Um,
The Russos.
well, Zack Snyder too. I would bring them back in. I would not have
Yeah.
Josh Whedon in the room.
Okay. I
Josh,
don't know why. I don't know why Joss Whedon, who has given you
no,
not
no, I like
only
Josh. I like Josh, but I think what Josh is doing now is Josh is doing what we talked about earlier in the show. I think Josh is kind of like, we need you to appeal to all the masses. Okay, that's what we need from you. If I want to bring in Josh, what I'm trying to say is, well, then I just want to appeal to China, Bangladesh, America, and England. Everybody, I need you to write me some generalized, fun movie. No, Zack Snyder is giving me a niche product, maybe too niche. I need something that's a little bit not playing to everyone. So, um, Captain America might be wearing the Captain America uniform. He's not going to be not wearing it because you know what, China doesn't like the American symbol on there, or whatever else. Nah, we're not doing that. Put him in the uniform, full time. Um, but anyway,
I would see if there's some way that we could get Zach and Joss to work together to their mutual benefit. Um, maybe as co-directors, or if that wouldn't work, then I would bring the Russos in. You're right. I think the Russos would be great at that story and putting the Justice League, on firmer ground. Absolutely. I would not say no to the Russos either.
and now I'm thinking about it as I'm talking to you. If I have any billions left over, I would probably do an X-Men film. Like I would take one of my like the Age of Apocalypse comic book storyline. I would probably do that. I would love to do the X-Men. I mean, I would have to spend a ton of
You
money
don't
on
think that there needs to be a resting period between the original X-Men series that just finished like this month?
the Age of Apocalypse storyline is an alternate universe storyline. And
So what
technically,
if?
so what if you can dovetail that in because Legion is the one, Legion, Professor X's son, who kills him. then creates this whole new shattered timeline where Professor X is not alive.
You don't think
And
that would be confusing to mass audiences who just now experienced the quote end of the X-Men universe unquote?
yeah, but it's my money.
Sure, you can lose it if you want. That's fine. I mean, if you want to throw good money after bad, sure. I think that there should be a waiting period. I think that they're onto something at Marvel with their saying, we're not going to rush into this X-Men thing. You're right. You should let it rest. It's been 20 years constantly back to back X-Men movies, pretty much, with little gaps here and there, but it's been a continuous tale for 20 years. Let it rest.
Yeah. How about this? When I'm sitting there, all of a sudden you're over there spending your money and you go like this. Did you hear? I hear that Henry Cavill is going to be in the alternate universe X-Men movie. You're like, what? Henry Cavill's going to be in the alternate? And then you're going to call me up on the phone on my direct line. I'm like this. Go for pain. You've got pain. You've got 30 seconds. You'd be like this. Is it true that you got Henry Cavill? I'm like, yep. I know you offered him like $3 million for his role. I offered him 4. Guess which one he took?
Uh-huh.
And you're like, he's going to be in the X-Men? I'm like, who wants to know? You're like, me? I'm like, yeah, I'm not at liberty to discuss that. We're still doing casting, though. That's what I
Really?
would say to you. You'd be like this, oh. And then you start tweeting about how, like, you can't wait for this new X-Men movie with Henry Cavill in it.
Okay. All right. I'll go with it.
It would be difficult for the people, but I think there would be room for it because it would be a what if. It's sort of like what they're doing, however, DC now. They've got their Joker. It's not a Joker that's in the current timeline. It's some sort of like other Joker. You know,
Right.
I mean, well, we don't know if that's going to be successful, but clearly they're over there doing. You've got a universe built, and now we're doing side projects off of that. Not, whatever.
All
My
right.
$5 billion is bringing order to the universe, Bill. That's what I'm doing.
Right. With an iron fist, as usual. Okay. So, news bits that we've got this week. I know one story that came across my Twitter that has to be addressed on this show is the possibility or the rumor out there that The Matrix is about to get another installment directed by the Wachowskis and starring Michael B. Jordan.
I thought we didn't allow transgender people to direct films.
Really? No, this isn't the fantasy scenario in which you get to decide with all of your money what gets made.
I'm
This
sorry.
is the reality.
I'm sorry. Which transgender Wachowski is this? This one is Lana. Lana.
That's the rumor, is that Lana.
Which one of the Wachowskis is the most talented?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I'll stop
right.
making the jokes. Continue with
So,
the
how do you
information.
feel about the general idea? Now, it's not specified in the rumor that I've read anywhere whether this is going to be a reboot or a continuation.
There was also some mention of Michael B. Jordan, I think, in that article that I saw.
Right. So, I'm of the ilk that I would prefer it to be a continuation, not a reboot.
One, if you're telling me that the Wachowskis would be rebooting The Matrix, I would be sitting there going, once again, that film, I mean, let's say arguably, let's say perfect.
It's 20 years old.
Yeah, but I don't know why we have to reboot it. Do we have to reboot E.T.? I just don't understand. Do we have to reboot Schindler's List? I don't understand. I know why they would do that, because of trying to make money for shareholders. I get the money aspect of it, but in terms of actually just being a film lover, I don't know if I don't know if I've ever asked for a Matrix reboot.
I don't know.
So what you're telling me is you're going to take Lawrence Fishburne out, you're going to put in another character, you're going to take out Keanu Reeves, and then put in another character, and then we're going to start this whole thing again.
We don't know yet whether it's a reboot.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, if it was,
what
I
if
don't
it's not?
know. What's that?
What if it's not? What if it's a continuation?
Well, if it's not, then that's great. It's the same thing with Aliens, or any other Terminator franchise. If you have a story to tell, and to use your word, not some sort of like superfluous, necessary. If you have a necessary story to tell, then why would I not want to revisit the Matrix world? But if you're talking about rebooting the Matrix, that just sounds like a horrible idea.
Well, I'm not up
So
for
instead of
rebooting the
Keanu Reeves, we now have Michael B. Jordan as Neo. I mean, it gave advancements in terms of filmmaking already. Uh, What are they going to do something else besides bullet time? I mean, it's just in terms of reboot. If they were to do it, poor idea. I just don't. It's ridiculous to me. It's not necessary. Are we are we really rebooting some movies that we find are classics? Are we rebooting The Godfather? Is it time to reboot The Godfather? It's
I don't know. Look, if you
it,
apply
but
your
if we're going to talk
general
a
knowledge,
continuation, then the answer is yes, Bill.
if
Why
you
not?
apply your philosophy,
That's my philosophy.
no,
Sure.
but your philosophy is movies that were made before 1980 just don't really exist in your world. So if you apply that same philosophy to today's audiences, to today's kids, then maybe some of them don't feel the Matrix is relevant because it's 20 years old and it's beyond their lifetime. So maybe for those kids,
It's 19. What did you say? 1999.
yeah, it's 20 years old.
You know what? That's not old enough. It's not old enough. It's not old enough. The Matrix holds up. People still watch The Matrix. I
But
know that
group.
people that are 20 years younger than me. Let me take my woman's son, her oldest son.
Mhm.
He's 28. He just had the one kid who was 10 years old or 12. He watched The Matrix with him. They loved it. So it's not old to where it's kind of like you're looking at it going, what is this old timey shit? What is this Marilyn Monroe crap? It's I don't buy it that it needs to be redone. Like I don't think it's old enough. 20 years is not enough. 20 years is like a drop in the hat. But go ahead, continue. Go ahead with your point. Where you're
Um,
going with it?
I'm just saying it's not my preference for them to reboot it either. But there's a lot of complications. There's a lot of layers and complexity to the original Matrix trilogy, not just the original movie, but the entire trilogy. And there are all sorts of ideas that they can explore and expound upon. I just don't know, considering how unpopular amongst a certain viewership the second and third movies were, that there's an appetite for a continuation of the story that they started with the original trilogy. So I just don't know that it will be
That's it's when was the last Matrix movie? Let me look that up.
2003.
2003. Not being a fan of the third movie and certainly the second movie has one of the greatest action scenes ever, if not the greatest action scenes ever for me, and some other scenes in there. I felt that the story got a little bit loose for me. I would welcome additional stories from the Matrix. I don't have a problem with the fact that I didn't necessarily care for all the things that happened in two or three. It does not destroy my appetite for entering into the universe. But
Okay.
I would hope, like like with anything, that you would be telling me something or try to tell me something that was forwarding this universe or expanding it or necessary. Like I don't want to do some sort of retread shit. Like it's okay. Who's this Michael B. Jordan character? Well, this is Morpheus' son, Morpheus Jr. And what is he doing? He's looking for the one. Okay, so Morpheus Jr. is okay. He's his father's son. He's looking for the one, and yes, and some kid that looks Keanu. You know what I mean? Like that shit seems boring to me already. Um, I would be more concerned with the fact with the Wachowskis haven't really had a hit. Their filmmaking has been pedestrian after The Matrix. I would think that would be more of a concern.
It's not a concern for general audiences who don't really know who care that Jupiter Ascending came from the minds of the Matrix because they probably don't know that that's true.
Okay.
Um,
So why are they doing this, Bill? Do they need to pay for their their surgery for their transgenderism,
Why do you
or
always have to be so nasty about their transsexualism? Who
okay,
cares?
okay. Do they? Is it a money grab, or do they have a story to tell?
Well, Jay, there's probably a little bit of both. To be quite honest with you, I mean, they haven't had as successful a career. They shuttered their
Okay, that's
studio.
true. There's nothing wrong with making money. I would hope that either way, that they have a story. I'm going to stop this for me. I'm going down this road again. I'm completely open to more stories from the Matrix world. But like
Okay,
the Terminator and the Alien world, I hope it's something obviously good because, there's lots of stories to be told from Terminator and Aliens and zombie movies, but then you get a lot of things that just aren't original and they fall flat. And I would think that if we're doing the Matrix story, I'd hope they push something. I would hope that they would find the creativity that led them to create the Matrix to begin with. That would make me
I
happy.
would be hopeful for that as
I,
well.
I would not hope for some sort of Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines where I walk out and be like, this is just horrible. It just puts a stink on that movie and the other movies that come after it.
I think we're in agreement on that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
So,
I
do you have
mean,
any
just
other
like we
news
talked about
stories?
earlier with these franchises, I don't like Toy Story 4. I'm all for the franchises. I just hope that they just continue to tell good stories.
Well,
Like why,
sure.
like every Alien movie that comes out, I want it to be good. It's not like I'm sitting there going, I'm so tired of the Alien films. you
Right.
know, that's false. I was watching the shorts that you mentioned to me.
Right.
Like, and I mean, it's not like somehow these stories are all like so. It's about some aliens come out of an egg, but there's so much that I think could be told, and every time one comes out, I'm interested in it. And so it's not like I'm going to say not to do the Matrix story. It's just obvious, like you said, like they're not trying to do crap, but I'm looking at them with a curious eye, going, "Please don't waste my time. Like if you're going to do this, like sit down in a room and create some cool shit." Anyway, moving on.
So, are there any other news stories that you wanted to cross before
Oh yeah,
we
what's
move
going
on?
on with yeah, there's a few more. I wrote them down. So the Avengers Endgame, they're coming out with some sort of what? They're Isn't the movie still out?
It is still out, so it's kind of like a false re-release, but I guess they're going to refresh all their screenings with the additional scenes that are tacked on to the end of the movie. There's a deleted scene, and then there's a scene that's like a Stanley tribute scene or some kind of like.
So you want me to? I know what you told me. One of the reasons behind this is, but as a consumer, I sat in a movie for 3 hours, and what you want me to do is you want me to go back and pay another $12 to see a deleted scene, which is it an action scene or is it a talkie
There's
talk
a
scene?
total of 7 minutes that are tacked on to the end of the original Endgame movie.
On the
So
end?
yeah, they're at the end. So there's a
So,
deleted scene.
wait, when
There's
you
the
say the end, you mean like after everybody's like died and just kind of hanging out and going
Yeah,
over
I think
everything?
it means like mid-credit scenes, how they do those scenes at the end of the movies in Marvel. It's similar to that, except these are new because they weren't released with the original version.
And then I get
Um,
to see a Stanley tribute film that'll probably be on YouTube in 3 months.
okay, so there's a total of 7 minutes of new material. So that's not even a real long Stanley tribute. If it's a tribute to him, the deleted scene, and then I believe there's a new end credit scene or something. So a new
Yeah.
flash to something like the X-Men maybe is what the hope is, or the Fantastic
Newsflash, we
Four.
got Spider-Man Far From Home coming up in a couple weeks. We are not going to be going to see these extra deleted scene of
Oh,
7 minutes.
I'm going to see them next weekend.
Come on!
I'm going to
Are
see
you
them. I want to see them.
serious?
I am serious. It's Endgame is my favorite movie of the year so far, anyway. So it's not like I don't enjoy the movie. So I'll go
Oh,
sit through the movie again and see
oh.
what they've got to show me.
That's why America's in this hole it is right now with the sheep. That's exactly what it is. America's full of sheep. Ah, bah.
Here's the thing. I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting into. They're not duping me into something that I'm against my will. I understand I'm paying a $10 fee to see additional 7 minutes, so that's more than $1 a minute. I'm fine with it. I really am. Um,
Can't you just torrent this shit, go on the dark web? I mean, honestly.
no, I can't. I'm not doing that. I want to see what they want to show me in the most proper surroundings.
I hope they come out with the first 3 minutes and all of a sudden Thor comes out and goes like this. So, listen, I'm thinking about hitting up Planet Fitness. And,
You're so stupid.
and Anthony Mackie goes, really? I got a great location over there in DC, but we can sit there and go over there to the yogurt shop. And Thor would be like this. I would like that. Take me to your yogurt shop so I can start my Planet Fitness workout. End scene. Stanley Tribute. You're gonna feel good about that? Is that really what you're going for? Just that few minutes of chuckles?
I'm going for the flash forward scene or whatever their end credit scene is. I'm going for the Stanley. Yeah, I'm going for all of it.
Okay, so the reason why they're doing this is you told me over the phone. You think one of the reasons is because they would like to break the all-time
Oh, I'm sure that's the reason. That's
record
quite
for
obviously.
Avatar.
That's obviously the reason is that they want to beat Avatar. They're this close to beating Avatar to number one all time. So they're re-releasing it in order to get over the top. Absolutely. I can see that perfectly.
Okay,
I just don't
I
have
guess
a
we'll
problem with
check
it.
the box office to find out where they're at. Well, that's interesting.
So I take it you won't be going.
No, I'm not even remotely interested. If you told me there was going to be something where Thanos is ripping off heads and he's doing some other R-rated shit, I still wouldn't go see it, but I'd be a lot more plugging it that everybody should else go see it and upload it, the bootleg version, on the internet so I could watch it.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay.
speaking of that bootleg version, I have to watch this afterwards, but I hear there's the alternate ending for Pet Cemetery is available online.
I did not know that. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it was on firstshowing.net. They're like, yeah, by the way, this is the alternate ending right here. You can watch
It's
that.
probably coming on the Blu-ray, which is probably coming out on Tuesday or sometime soon, I would imagine. That's where they're
Um,
getting this from.
okay, well, I'm actually thinking about watching the alternate ending after we get off the show, to be quite honest with you.
Why don't you just wait and rent the Blu-ray or the whatever? Rent the Blu-ray from Netflix and watch it on there so you can see it in better quality.
This is coming from the guy that actually had standard definition programming of the Housewives when you came over to my place in the original Hellmouth. And you looked at me incredulously with going like this, are we watching this show in standard definition? And I go, what? And you're like this, you do have high definition. I'm like, I guess I do. Go, why are you taping your shows in standard definition then? I'm like, I don't know. They were just programmed that way.
Ugh, I could not.
So
Could
Pet
not.
Cemetery comes out on July 9th.
So it's a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm still gonna watch the
Of
others.
course you are.
I'm still gonna watch it. I with the disc I get from Netflix, I don't know if they always have bonus materials on them. I mean, they're sending in the most basic of disc.
Okay.
So, um,
So you haven't even seen
so
the
I'm,
movie yet because it's not out on Netflix yet. So you're just going to watch the deleted scene for a movie that you haven't even seen.
yes.
Why? The alternate ending, I mean, for a movie you haven't even seen. Why?
Because I just want to, well, that ending's supposed to be dark. I mean, I want to see what
Okay. Well, maybe you want to see it in context of the rest of the movie. I'm just saying.
you're making me feel weird about it now.
I'm not trying to make you feel weird. I'm just
I
trying
guess
to
maybe
say,
if I watch the movie, then I could probably remember at the end of it to watch it, look it up again later on, and watch the alternate ending. Then I can do it that way. All right, maybe
just makes sense
that's
to me,
fine.
but whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. In other news, we also have. Um, let's see here. I don't want to talk about Creep Show. That's coming to Shutter. Um, your boy Brian Singer is no longer going to be directing Red Sonja. Is that old news now?
That is a little bit old.
Okay, that's fine. So apparently, is it official that this new Skywalker, this last Star Wars movie, is the end of the Skywalker saga? Because I saw that Mark Hamill said he is going to be coming back as a Force ghost, but he's over and done with this role now. That he wants to move on,
They've
and that it's been
been
confirmed.
saying that this is the saga. I mean, it's in the trailer. Every story has an ending. They flash that at the beginning of the trailer.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know if that really means that. I mean,
It
everybody's
means
story.
it's over. Yeah, they've been touting this as
They
the
make
finale
$2 billion.
of the Skywalker saga for ages. So yeah, this is a finale.
Okay, this information or whatever else doesn't change anything for you
No, this
whatsoever.
is not news. This is not news.
Okay.
Where's the damn news?
Okay, all right.
You did know that,
Oh, to be
right? That
quite
this was
honest
the
with
end of
you,
the
I think that.
Skywalker saga for like ages. They've been touting this.
Well, they say that, but you never know with these people. All of a sudden, if you get a whole bunch of people that makes $2 billion and say they love this, then all of a sudden they're gonna be like, "Well, there was another Skywalker," you know.
That's such a cynical way
Carrie
of
Fisher
looking
was
at it.
banging. It's true.
I don't know that that's true.
Well, that's what we're doing with Halloween. The Halloween sequel, the Blumhouse sequel to Halloween is coming out in October of 2020. And if you watch that movie, did you see the
I did see
Blumhouse Halloween?
Halloween. Yes.
Yeah. At the end, it's the whole idea that what's her name?
Jamie Lee
Lauren,
Curtis,
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Laurie Strode.
playing Laurie Strode. She does this whole thing where she becomes empowered, and this time the mouse becomes the cat, and so she presumably traps Michael Myers and burns the house down with him around and seemingly killing him, therefore ending it. Unfortunately, they made like $250 million, and so at that point, we're now doing a sequel. My point of the matter is, if they make a lot of money and get a positive feedback, can they not throw a Skywalker in there again in the future?
I think that that's a whole different ball game on a whole other level.
It's
Star
it's
Wars
just
versus.
true. I mean, they're saying that, but I think they say it in a way of like letting you know, like it's the end of the story and you have to see it. Like we're not going to drag this on. There's not going to be 8 more of these. So if you want to see how it all ends, you got to come and see this movie. It's like a natural thing. Like of course I want to see it. It's like Thanos Endgame. I've invested myself in 20 movies. I want to see how it ends.
Listen, I hear you. This is the same story that tells you it's the ending at the same time as over the end of the trailer, you hear the cackling of the Emperor. So it's never, and as Luke says, no one ever really dies. So who knows?
I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem one way or another. I'm just making a reference that. I know we talked about it. Did you do any more research? Because it looks like Kathleen Kennedy has hired her number 2. Somebody
I did not. I forgot about that story after I got off the phone with you. To be honest,
apparently you're not buying it. I think her name is what, Michelle Redwing.
I don't know. I have to look it up now. Though
whatever it is, she's in charge of the live action and independent projects
for Lucasfilm. Is that correct?
You want to make me look her up?
Yeah, look her up, please.
Wow. I can't believe you're making me do this.
Really?
Lucasfilm names Michelle Rejwan, Senior Vice President.
She's Senior Vice President, not President.
Senior Vice President of Live Action Development and Production. She will oversee new slate of feature films as well as Disney Plus series and will continue to produce with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy.
That's so weird. I just went to my Google and typed in Michelle, and it came up Michelle Kathleen Kennedy and Lucas.
That's exactly with my Google search, by the way.
And
Michelle
she doesn't
Kathleen
even
Kennedy.
look. She doesn't look Asian. You were saying that she was Asian.
I don't know why I got that from there. I'm just maybe I just call episode 91 Jay's racist as fuck. Okay, Kane's racist as fuck. Okay,
but I mean I don't know what's going on, but she's not Asian.
No, she's not.
Okay.
So either way, I took this story as to mean a couple things. You're not on this train yet, but I feel as though this puts a buffer between Kathleen Kennedy and getting her ass toasted and fired. She's had some sort of missteps, which, by the way, everybody does have missteps in this type of dog eat dog world. But, you know, there's a lot more hot seat and glare with obviously a Star Wars project. And so I think by handling this person, to me it seems like you're ceding control over to somebody else.
Here is it possible that Kathleen Kennedy, who's no spring chicken herself and has been working in the industry for about 30 to 35 years, if not longer, is preparing somebody to take over the reins for when she naturally retires, which can't be the next 20 years, I would say. She probably will retire within 10, if that long.
Well, you can look at
So,
it that way. I'm looking at it that she had some missteps, and all of a sudden Michelle's like, "Well, this is what I would have did," and she's like, "You know what? You seem to be creative. I'm going to hire you, and then like I'm going to take credit for it when we start to have successes. But when shit goes south for you, I'm going to sit there and be like, you know what? I'm going to take full control back from Michelle. She's taking us Star Wars into a different direction that we didn't plan on going. I'm now back at the helm." I find it's a way to insulate her.
okay. I find that's a bunch of hooey, but okay.
You know, I this is getting some sort of, I just don't know. She wasn't bringing in a senior vice president and putting anybody in charge of anything. She was seemed to be handling that, having her name on the front banner, and then all of a sudden you hit a couple hiccups with Solo and Last Jedi, and then all of a sudden we bring in a senior vice president. I find that there's smoke there, Bill. There's a little bit of smoke there.
I hear you. I think that that is a bunch of hooey, and that Kathleen is probably needing some. She's
Oh,
probably, wanting some assistance. So she wants,
oh, I can't wait. I can't wait because I'm going to mark episode 91 in my memory bank. So when Michelle takes over, you know what? I'm going to call you at like 6 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to want to take that call, and you're going to be like this. I can't believe you're fucking calling me. Is it important? I'm like this. Yeah, the chickens have come home to roost. Kathleen Kennedy's in the unemployment line.
whatever. I don't know why you haters have to be on your hate rolls for so long. Okay, you don't like the Last Jedi. We get it.
I also didn't
Some of
like
us don't feel
Solo.
the same.
I don't like Solo either. But my whole point was, I don't think I really have a point on it.
Your whole
I'm trying to be more positive,
no,
and
you're not.
everybody has their opinion. For me, I'm just hoping that it's all about appearances. Sometime for me, Bill.
Mhm.
I know it's all about the money, but sometimes I want the appearance that you're trying to do something for the betterment of the creative project that you're working on. I just want the appearance of it sometimes. And it's very hard with these type of movies that have such popularity and bring in so much money because you're going to have a lot of people on set with a lot of opinions and mouths to feed. Like everybody's got a toy development has to be a part of it. It's got to be like, why do we have to change the costume? And you got the toy people going like, well, we need to sell more toys, so we don't want to use the costume from the last movie. We need a new costume so we can have justify building a new toy. There's a lot going on. I don't know, but I just need to have the appearance of it. Well, everything's going to be fine, right? Because J.J. Abrams is running the show again.
Well, for this final version, sure.
Do you think some momentum has been lost, or do you think with J.J. returning and with the trailer being released that momentum has been regained,
I
where the
think the
people that
momentum
were
has
on
been.
the fence will now be like, "Oh, thank heavens, J.J.'s back, and we can't wait for December,"
I
or
think
is it?
people will have to wait and see. I think it's going to be one of those things where you earn the goodwill back from people. So the movie
What do
will
you
stand
mean?
on it. So the movie will speak for itself. The movie will either be what people wanted from The Last Jedi and continuing on from The Force Awakens, or it won't be. Um, but it's not going to be. I think there's certainly some controversy within the fan community. So right now, that sort of goodwill is sort of lost on some people. So yeah, I think it's going to be the movie to prove to people whether it's up to snuff or not. The anticipation level probably not as high because of the reaction to the last couple of films.
Okay, a couple more things. So it looks like Marvel slash Disney will be heading back to the comic book convention.
San Diego Comic Con, bitches. Marvel's going to have a major presence there.
Is that
With,
2020?
no, that's 2019, as in 3 weeks from now or 4 weeks from now.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So they're
So
probably
you're
going
just
to.
you're just mentioning this now?
I actually kind of forgot about it because it's still several weeks away. But they're probably going to release like how they did that one standalone event before they released like all of the information for phase 3 at the same time. It's probably going to be something along those lines where they're going to tell us, what's up with their next slate of films.
That's going to be a lot of news.
Guess who's not coming to Comic-Con this year?
DC?
DC. That's right.
Oh,
So the big news getter, the big news headline winners is going to be Marvel no matter what happens because DC's not even trying this year.
yeah. DC doesn't even want to show up because then people are going to be like, "Hey, how's it going? What's so? Oh, that's so. Hey, you guys got Shazam though. That's good, right?"
Shazam 2's coming, right?
You got The Rock for Black Adam. Yeah, things are looking up for you. You got Wonder Woman, whatever that is you're doing. A
Wonder Woman
prequel.
84, which they're not going to give any promotion to at San Diego Comic-Con, which is coming out. By the time the next Comic-Con comes out in 2020, Wonder Woman 84 will have already been released. So there's really no chance for them to promote Wonder Woman 84 or
So they don't want to go
Joker.
there and promote their Joker. They don't want to promote their Harley Quinn. They don't want to promote their upcoming Batman. Maybe show
Nope.
even just a symbol, a logo, or whatever else.
Nope.
Maybe have Pattinson dressed in an outfit or something, or a shadow of him. Nope.
Nope.
No. Okay. Is it a lost opportunity, or is it just more
Sure.
like?
It seems stupid to me, but I mean, where we're at with DC is not surprising, right? So
I feel like sometimes DC showing up is like when I showed up at your house with my 2002 Toyota Corolla in gold color. Sometimes it's just junky. It's just junky. While you're sitting there carrying your like 2018, floor model with like voice control activated seats or whatever else like that, and you're just like, that's what Marvel's like. With me sitting in my car going, "Hey, we're there. I'm here." You're like, "Yeah." You're trying.
So
That's all that matters. It gets you here. Well, it's
So that's that. But I'm looking forward to San Diego Comic Con because the news will be hitting on our drive back from our vacation just as we're coming back from Holden Beach. So it'll be fun to get all that information.
Didn't I tell you about discussing when you go on trips? I forgot. I'm sorry. Your husband has like traps and moats and all sorts of security things running around there. Never mind. That's fine. You're very confident in saying when you're going on vacation because your house is like some sort of like impenetrable fortress of like security.
We've got guards watching.
Chris is going, "What's going on? My phone is alerting me that there's some extra leaves that blew into our lawn from the next door lawn. It's
Damn
motion
it!
activated. It's the extra sensitive."
Right?
What'd you say when we pull into your garage? You're like this. My husband's probably watching us right now from that camera over there.
He is. And then he calls me and goes like, "I see you guys are back." Okay. We're here. It's a little stalkery. I don't really care for it, but
I kind of like that. I kind of like
yeah,
that.
I'm
I
sure.
think women don't necessarily appreciate that type of watchful
Stalkery?
eye. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't care for it.
you know.
Not that I'm a woman, but I don't care for it.
But if I had a mail order bride, yeah, that's how I'd roll with that stuff. Okay. Well, I'm not going to go into my last haterade because I did see a Scott Mendelson tweet where he was panning Dark Phoenix again, talking about it had like the biggest drop ever from like week to week.
Yeah, like 83%.
Yeah, something like that. And but I think the line was, even though I said I wasn't going to go here, was going, I don't know why these people are all so flabbergasted that about the result of their movie when one, nobody was clamoring for a remake of the Dark Phoenix story and some other things over there. And I was like, oh well, that actually made some good points.
Let's kick a dead horse. It's over.
I'm not going to kick the dead horse. I said I wasn't going there, but then I just started talking. I'm not going to kick the dead horse because we're going to be getting a new X-Men universe 5 years from now anyway. So
Yeah, it's over. Whatever you think of it, positive or negative, a fan or not a fan, the Fox
do you
X-Men
think this has
universe
affected Simon Kinberg directing, not his writing, his directing opportunities?
What about it?
Do you think it's affected his directing opportunities?
I don't think so. I mean, he's already got stuff that he's been hired for that I don't think that people are going to fire him from because of. I mean,
I'll tell
it
you what,
happens all the time, Jay. Not every movie that is made is a hit, and
if it's
so
Payne Studios right now we're like this. Yeah, pack your bags. He's gonna be like, what? Wait a second. Yep. I'm bringing in what's that guy? What's that guy from American Graffiti? I'm bringing that guy
really,
in. Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. Okay, Disney already did that. See what happened to them.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Lord and Miller?
I think they are working on some animated stuff right now for Sony.
So I think my woman has left the house, or maybe she hasn't. She's headed to today's her mom's like 92nd birthday.
Oh,
So I'm doing the show instead of going to the birthday party.
oh, nice.
Yeah, so I need to make sure we go for an extra 2 or 3 minutes because I don't want to go up there early because it might give the idea that maybe I can take a shower and get going. I don't really feel like going right now. So
Okay, so how about we get into box office results? Because
I've already pulled it up. What? Daddy's got to go wash his ass, get ready for
Daddy's
the
got to
date
get in
night.
the tub with the rubber duckies. Daddy's got things to do.
I think tonight's gonna be a Chipotle night for me. All right. So the number one movie for the weekend of June 21 to 23rd with no music for this episode 91. Bill's movie. He contributed to this. $118 million. Toy Story 4. I'm having trouble saying that. Toy Story 4. It made $118 million domestically and made just about the same amount overseas.
So that seems a good amount of money.
238 million bucks for
Yeah,
one weekend?
yeah,
Sure. Sounds like great.
good for them. Wish the movie was
Especially
better
it's
to earn it,
animated.
but
So does a A-lister get paid as much for just lending his voice as he would do with full acting in another movie?
I would say no. But that's just a guess.
Okay. So you think if we're just using your voice, you just get a portion of it?
Yeah, I think there's a scale probably.
Oh, we gotta get Superfan Melissa on that. Number two movie in its opening weekend, Child's Play, starring our boy Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky, if I'm right, if I believe that right.
Yes, I
Um,
think you're right.
I think this was a Bloomhouse production.
Yeah, it is.
It made $14 million.
Cost 10 cents, so profit.
It cost $10 million. That's not a
Still.
good start for Child's Play, if you ask me.
Really? I mean, what would you want? Would
The
you
movie
want
cost $10 million. It made $14 million.
that's $4 million profit. They've already made their $4 million back.
Yeah, but that's not
I know because of put print and advertising and all that stuff.
well,
Not
yeah,
a huge
just
margin.
favoring that though. I just don't think that's even if you just took it out and say, by the way, it's a $4 million profit. I don't think anybody was kind of hoping that, you know, 20-30 million dollars or something else like that, 25, $14 million this week, maybe $7 million next week. That's a lot that they put in for the remake of Child's Play and not getting much return. If you look at it like from a Halloween perspective,
Right.
like that's, you struck gold with Halloween. Looks like with Child's Play, you're not. I don't think it's. Let's put it this way: it beat out barely the number three movie, Aladdin, which has been out for 5 weeks, by only $2 million.
Right.
So a movie that's been out for 5 weeks, they barely squeak pie it with an extra couple million. Yeah, I don't know if I feel good about that. And not to mention, it's $4 million off the number four movie, Men in Black International, which just is hard. Anyway, so I'm getting ahead of myself. The number three movie, Aladdin, pulled in another 12 million, bringing its grand total, which is heavily weighted for overseas, to $810 million.
That movie is another movie that I was slightly disappointed in. I have not had a great movie for a year for movies so far, to be honest with you, in my
I think you
opinion.
said it's been a brutal movie summer.
Yeah,
think it's
but
next.
that's for money, though. I mean, a lot of things aren't doing well or as well as they thought they would be doing. Aladdin is an exception to that. But for me, as far as like story, enjoying the stories that I'm seeing, I'm having a brutal summer too. I'm not really feeling this summer's movies. Aladdin was okay. It wasn't like I'm in love with it. I haven't been in love with something for a while, and I'm
Okay.
sort of waiting to be in love with
What
something again.
do you see that love coming somewhere along the line over the next 6 months?
I certainly hope, the Rise of Skywalker makes me love it.
Okay. Well, that's December. That's a long wait.
Well, right, but I mean, Spider-Man. Uh, I don't. I'm not particularly enamored with this version of Spider-Man yet. Maybe
Yeah,
this movie will turn me around, but
yeah, it's well, if this
um,
if the movie before that, Homecoming, didn't do that, why would Far From Home do it? You just
right,
might start to
long
grow into the love for Tom Holland.
maybe. I mean, I grew into my love for uh, Henry Cavill, so
Okay, fair enough.
um,
I mean, this movie. I mean, obviously, this is once again part of like the whole idea of like, even if a movie looks like crap to me, sometimes the Disney film and the magic or whatever else, the nostalgia, you just can't stop. And even though this just looked horrible to me, it's made 522 million overseas. And even though I don't know if I really count that as in terms of if you want to talk about taste of overseas people, whatever. That's another dig. I've just been digging, really just
you're just digging a hole that you're not going to get out of with some of our
it's
listeners today, aren't
ridiculous.
you?
But then domestically, it's not like we're over here with our Fast and Furious bullshit either. So okay, we're just as backwaters in different ways. But it's $287 million over here, so it's a ton of money.
Right.
I'll move on. The number four movie in its second week of release, Men in Black International, pulled in $10 million.
Ouch.
So the movie cost $110 million to make. It's directed by Gary Gray, and of course, this is what we talked about before: how it all leaks out that there were all these issues and different things, and trying to explain maybe why it was not as successful as it should be. But it's only made $52 million within America, and $129 million overseas.
Hold on. Is that cold? Just checking. Go ahead.
Um, so it's I really don't know. I think this is obviously a losing money franchise right now. This movie
Well,
here,
I would not certainly expect there to be a Men in Black
international too.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. The number five movie in its third week of release is The Secret Life of Pets 2.
Hmm.
And while that's not doing well overseas, probably because they eat animals.
Oh, you're just gonna
Zing,
keep going.
zing.
Wow.
That was purposeful. That was
Okay.
purposeful. Um, It's made $117 million in America, $77 million overseas, for a grand total of about $200 million on a budget of $80 million. I mean, I
Okay.
guess that's okay.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
I feel as though it's weak. I mean, obviously, Toy Story 4 opening is meant to be strong and whatever
Yeah.
else, but I
Awesome,
feel like
right?
with these other movies, I feel like there's a bit of a how do I say, non-excitement
Okay.
outside of a specific love or interest for the property. There doesn't seem to be like this. I mean, pulling in $10 million or $12 million within 1 or 2 weeks of the movie opening doesn't seem like a strong. It's just not a strong emotional attachment, if you will, I guess.
Well, I think there are exceptions to that. I think that Aladdin is overperforming than I would have thought it would have performed. Um, it's making more money than I really thought it was going to make based on all the controversy of the color of the blue genie,
Mhm.
and all of that nonsense that came out before the movie came out. Um,
Okay.
it's like this: if you're not Disney or Bloomhouse, just wrap it up. That's basically where we're at.
Yeah. Okay. Um, that's it. I mean, let's see. Let's see where Dark Phoenix is. Dark Phoenix is at. It's been out for 3 weeks. Is at
Why
number
again?
9.
Why are we even going over this? We know it's a massive money loser. Okay.
It's made a ton of money overseas.
How much? And by the way, that doesn't really count, like you said.
172 million.
Okay. Again,
It,
the U.S. company is only going to see like
yeah,
a small
it's
portion
made
of
a
that.
third of that money over here. So,
Yeah.
um,
Haters. Haters.
number 10, the number 10 movie is Shaft.
There won't be a Shaft 2.
It's pulled in for a total over 2 weeks, $15 million. It's at number 10 though, so you know where that's
Yeah, in the garbage bin.
going.
That's where it's going. It's going in the dollar store bin at, Dollar Tree.
Oh, oh. Do you really think there's somebody sitting around a table going like this? You know what? We've got Richard Roundtree here. We got Samuel Jackson right off of like Avengers Endgame, Nick Fury, and by the way, the Medea movies. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because we were sandwiched in between Aladdin and Toy Story that nobody wanted to go see Shaft. Is that what's going on? Because
Unfortunately, the lesson that they're trying to have taken was all black movies are going to rise because of the Black Panther phenomenon, and that has been proven. And they're going to use this as leverage to say, again, black starring movies aren't going to make any money.
now I will say that Shaft, for me, looking at it not in that myopic view away, Shaft made 15 million in 2 weeks. The movie Ma with your favorite turtle face Octavia Spencer, um, that's made $56 million.
And how much did it cost?
$5 million
Boom, profit.
profit. Bloomhouse Production. Now
They can really take shit and turn it into Shinola over there at
they
Blumhouse.
took Octavia Spencer, put her in a movie where she looks like she's just playing a murderous woman, and that's made more than a Samuel Jackson, Richard Roundtree Shaft movie.
Right. And who would have thought?
Yeah, I can tell you, I would have probably
Not
seen
the
Ma
executives
before I see
agreed with
Shaft. I
that
can
movie.
tell you this: I will be renting the DVD, the disc of Ma. I will not be renting the DVD of Shaft.
Really? You're not going to rent the DVD of Shaft?
No, it looks terrible, Bill.
Oh,
It looks
okay.
terrible. I need you. You want me to send you the trailer on the
I'm good.
text?
I wasn't going to see it even if it looked great. So what difference does it make?
Why do you always show up, Shaft, and there all these bullets are flying? You know these bullets flying just turns you on, woman. I'm like, okay, you just in my mind when I see that whole scene, I just sit there and go, you just shot up a restaurant and there are people that are dead on the ground and we're cracking one-liners. I'm thinking that all you people are going to jail
Wow.
and you're not going to be getting out. There's going to be a lot of prosecutions and people wondering why. It's not going to be, hey, they were shooting at me in the restaurant and shooting back. There's going to be a lot of people and they're going like this. I don't know what the fuck happened. There's a black bald guy. He started shooting like the shit was like James Bond. Okay. And then some
Really?
lady was sitting there going, I find you to be sexy. And he was like, I know. I don't know what's going on, but I was just trying to have a nice anniversary dinner with my wife. And this crazy shit happens. This never happens over here. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. I don't find that to be humorous. I didn't take it the way it's meant to be taken. I just don't see it. So
Okay.
I won't be renting Shaft.
Yeah, I won't be watching it either.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. That's all I got, Bill. I mean, here? Let me see if I can play the music. Let's see if the music plays. How about now?
Okay. No,
Did you hear that?
I did not.
I wonder maybe if the people can hear it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see when you go to load the episode to see if you can hear it.
Oh, I guess it's just so damn ridiculous. I don't know who messed with my levels. Okay. All right, Bill. I actually enjoyed myself today.
Me too. I usually do.
You know, the funny thing is here, I was going to try to be in a better mood normally because I think trying to be a professional here when I listen to radio show hosts, they have to come in and they have to be like on all the time. I think with us, sometimes you're just like waking up from a nap. You're just like,
That is
oh,
true.
I don't know. I just don't want to deal with the nonsense, whatever else. And then I come in here and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, ah, I don't know. I just had to do something else. I'm kind of tired. I just want to watch a movie. Like nobody wants to listen to our show when the damn host is just like this. Tired, man. Fucking tired.
Well, it's good probably to bring some energy to it to make it seem like,
We care.
You can, yeah, we care. So I always feel like we have energy. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
that.
that's good.
I think we're a
I think
little long in the, honestly, I think I know our shows are our shows and that's what they are. And the length of the shows is the length of the show and that we're not going to fuck with it. But honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. I would not listen to a 2 hour podcast. I just wouldn't do it because I would look at the running time and be like, no, I'm not doing it. In fact, I don't do it because I
Right.
think it's the length is ridiculous.
Right. If we were to go into a meeting with Ike Perlmutter, he would be looking at us going, I'm glad you guys have done well for yourself, but listen, we've had like a test audience in here, and we can't go past 35 minutes. Okay.
Right.
So whatever you're doing, we need you to shrink that shit down.
Yeah. Condense that shit. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just saying
Right.
I wouldn't listen to it.
What you're saying is that our 2 hour podcast, which is actually going to be longer than 2 hours today,
right?
is that the people that really listen to us are true fans.
Yes. Melissa, superfan Melissa, and superfan Nadia for sure. I don't know if your sister qualifies as a superfan, but
No, she occasionally like
she
we
does
got.
listen.
I'll put in the secret word, kumquat. Okay, so
See if she can know what that word is, so you can tell if she's listened to the whole show.
Yeah, we'll ask her in 2 weeks what the secret word is for the last episode is, and she won't know. By the way, she found her superfan Nadia, superfan Melissa, and superfan Carlos will appreciate this. She found her cat. The cat came home after 5 days.
From adventures that were probably like related
apparently there might be some
dog
sort of
owning
cat
network.
community over there where she lives, and they had some sort of FBI. There's a FBI pet finding website or something. And people were calling my sister going, I think I might have saw your cat. And she'd be like, where's the location? They're like on 5th and Main. And so my sister's like, I'll drive over there. Yes. Yeah.
Why wouldn't they grab the cat and then call her?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like they're just driving and they spot a cat and then they call it in.
Okay.
And so
Well,
apparently,
it's good to know that she found him or her.
Well, he came home. He came home. For the people out there, just know that we educate you. Is the one reason if your cat gets lost, they say to put your litter box outside of your house, the door, and whatever else, and maybe the cat might make the smells and find its way back home.
Yeah.
So she said that the cat was had a few pounds less, was missing a couple tufts of hair. I think my sister put it very succinctly like, this cat's been living the good life for several years. He can't live in the hood. He can't.
No wonder he came home because he was probably, I can't handle this life.
Right.
This street life is not for me.
Yeah, I pictured him doing some shit like when he showed up with the other cats, and he was like this, hey fellas, I'm just here to chill with you guys. They're like, chill? Chill? You're not from here. You're from like Bel Air. And he'd be like, nah, MFers. I'm part of this crew. They're like, looks like your nails have been cut. Cut by PetSmart.
They probably smelled the like domestication on him.
You can't go back to the Yo.
No,
you can't go back.
I can't. There's no question about me going back to the Yo. Absolutely effing not. I can't even stand to go back to the Yo for like short, brief visits. So
my best story for you. I'm gonna let you go here because I'm gonna let you get your evening started. But it's still with you going. Over a decade and a half ago, you would go home back to the Yo, and you would stay for like a week and a half. Then, when it got down to 10 years, it was a week. Then you get down to 7 years, then it's 4 days. Then you get down to now you're down to like maybe 24 hours. It's a arrive late at night at like 8, and then gone by 9 the next morning.
This is true. And this is true. Now, here's the real reason, though, behind this. One of the reasons behind my short visits is that I used to not have my own transportation. I used to have to depend on Chris to drop me off and then come and get me because my car was not like up to snuff. No, this was several years ago. So this is probably 10, 15 years ago. But still, I would have to end up getting stranded there. And that was like, oh, no, I can't be stranded here. I can't.
Now, what happened if all of a sudden, let's just say you had like a recall in your vehicle, and then Chris is like, well, I'm going to drop you off, but I'm going to stay, for an extra 4 days. So you'll have to stay there for 4 days.
No. I'm not going. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it, Jay. I can't do it.
I know. I
I
hear
can't.
you. I hear you. By the way, my house is like an ice box. I'm walking around with a sweatshirt because it's so damn cold. My nipples can cut glass. I mean, and so I'm looking at Chris going, "Can we just turn off the air and put on the window?" She goes, "What? It's fine." I'm like, "It is not fine in here. It's like a
What?
freezer box." And she's like, "Oh, you're just being a baby."
Just
I'm like,
put on your old man's, ski cap. You'll be fine.
"Yes." I'm like, you would love it up here right now because it's just freezing. I'm just walking around going like this, chattering. I'm like, I'm so cold,
You know
so
what my
cold.
degree in my house is right now?
Uh-uh.
67.
That's ridiculous. That's
It's
ridiculous.
like an ice box in here. I love it. I love to hear the sound of the air conditioning humming. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. That's how I know I'm loved. That my husband lets me keep the temperature at 67 degrees.
Chris had that shit on 69 and I couldn't take it. I mean, literally, I was getting angry because it was so cold. I'm like, why am I so cold? I don't know why I'm so cold. So I bumped it up to 70. And right
Ugh.
now I'm wearing a sweatshirt in the basement going, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I mean, I all right.
All right.
Well, this has been episode
91.
91. Thank you for listening. And now for the people out there, I'm going to play our exit music. Bill, I've been
Uh,
your co-host Payne.
I'm Bill.
See you in 2 weeks. And here comes the music. Just think about the old music if you can't
Got
hear
it.
it. Here we go.
Bye.
Bye.